Hey, this is Barrett from Portakeeper. You guys have been asking me how the Turin compares to the Niche Zero. I figured I might be able to do one better by adding the Atom 75, using all three in a blind taste test. The Turin and the Atom use flat burrs, while the Niche uses conical. I printed off some coffee tasting wheels to try to graphically represent what I am tasting. To set up the test, I weighed out 18 grams of beans for each sample bowl, marking each bowl with a number. I told my wife to randomly select a grinder and make note of which grinder aligns with which sample. From there, I had her grind each sample into the bowls and leave it for my blind taste test. I just had my wife grind all three of these samples. I had her mark 1, 2, and 3, so I set all this up and pre-weighed everything as you saw. And then I left the room as she ground each sample. So now what I want to do is brew each shot, and I really don't have an idea of which one is which. I've dialed all these grinders in, and I want to see if I can tell the difference. We're looking at the Turin, the Niche Zero, and the Atom 75. So I thought those would be three good ones, pretty easy to use, and let's see if I can tell the difference. I'm also going to use the puck press and the same portafilter just to make sure that the portafilter itself can add a couple changes to the flavor as well as maybe the tamp pressure. So using the puck press, we're going to try to minimize as many variables as possible. So I'm just going to go in order. Got number 1, and we're going to brew it real quick. I'm going to brew all three samples, then I'm going to taste all three. Spilled a little bit, of course. Wish I would have got out a dosing funnel. And there's the puck press. Let's throw it in there real quick, and we're just going to do a full pressure shot. A little bit messy. I don't think I got it quite centered. That's fine. Let's go for number 2. Wow, this is really kind of a mess. Having the dosing tap really helps, so. Puck press. Let's do the second shot. I'm really having a time keeping this area clean. And let's do number 3 real quick. So I lost about the same amount on all three of these, so I guess it should be pretty fair. I'll probably pause the video and move it up. Alright, I moved it up a little bit, and really what I'm trying to do here is not say one's better or worse, but just kind of show how the same exact beans. I use these Good Brothers Guatemalan beans. Makes great espresso, pretty much at its prime. So I use the Turin, the Niche, and the Adam 75, but I really don't know which one is which. So I'm going to try to guess, and I'm going to try to fill some of this out. So we're going to say they're espresso on all three of these. And I'm going to try the first one. It's good. It's okay. Yeah, it's not too sour. It's not very floral. Do get some berry in it. I don't get any citrus. Get a little bit of that stone. And I really don't get that much chocolate, honestly. So that's how I'm gonna do that one. And let's see, let's try to connect all these dots. So whatever that is, that's about how that one tastes to me. Let's go on to number 2. So it tastes, honestly, it's a little less bitter. It's not smoky. It's not savory. Very clean. Linger, a little bit less. Sweet. It's not sour at all. It's not overly floral. It does have a little bit of spice. Not salty. You get the berry. No citrus. I don't know, I get quite a bit of stone fruit, I'd say. Chocolate, pretty minimal. I mean, that's where this is. But I do get a little bit of the caramel. So it's kind of a wild distribution. So let's go on to number 3. Definitely, I think I already know which one is which. So let's see. Not much better. A little more savory. Quite a bit of body, very clean. It's got quite a bit of linger. It's pretty sweet. Sour, not very sour at all. Floral, yeah. I'm gonna say a little bit more floral than the others. Spicy, pretty minimal on the spice. Salty, not much salt. Berries, citrus. I get, actually it's a little bit more astringent. I would say probably about there on the citrus. Stone fruit, I'm getting quite a bit. Chocolate, pretty much none. Caramel, about none. Smoky, probably about none. So, let's see. I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to take one more sip of each. These two are extremely similar, even though they kind of lay out a bit different. It's lacking some in this region and compared to these two. This one's maybe a little bit more bold. This one is a little bit more boring. So here's my vote. And then we're gonna look. Niche. And we're going to say Adam. Okay. So, let me move the camera just a sec. Well, I'll just bring it over. That'll be easy. So, had it over on the other counter. I haven't looked yet. And we're going to flip it over. Spot on, right? Number 1 is the niche, number 2 is the Turin, number 3 is the Adam. So I'm really not surprised. I can tell a big difference between conical and these flat, personally. I think the conical, they do make a good cup, but they're a little bit more boring. That's just me. I think you can highlight a couple of things that the beans exemplify. So again, this is a blind test. This is just one sample. I've tasted all these grinders enough, so I know about where each one tastes, but I only use one a day usually, so it changes day by day. I mean, I have bad days for espresso all the time. I was using this the other day, it tasted terrible. I was using my Adam the other day, it tasted terrible. And it was just me, it was just the day. I don't know if it was the humidity, it just didn't have the grind quite right. And after a couple cups, you're like, well, I'm done for the day. But tonight, all 3 of these are very good. And for the most part, I'd say there's a couple things, like these 2, I'd say are more bitter. This is definitely less bitter. Let's see, sweetness. This one is definitely a lot sweeter than the other 2. Both of these flats, I can almost taste the cleanness. It's kind of hard to describe, but I can just taste how much fresher it is, and I think that's just because the niche is a bimodal burr. It's not necessarily that it's bad. I actually kind of like muddy V60 or muddy Chemex. But in an espresso, I think when you're trying to get all the really crazy flavors out of it that you're trying to get out of some of these beans, having that nice fresh cleanness is pretty cool. So let me know what you think down in the comments. I am planning to do this probably a few more times, I hope. Didn't quite have enough beans for multiple tests tonight. This is a medium roast, so I thought it'd be interesting to do a much lighter roast and maybe a darker roast, because these niche grinders supposedly are really good for dark beans. Let's see, I'll pull these out so that you can see them real quick. They're medium. I consider this a city, solid city. And that's about where I like my espresso normally. If you can pull it off, I'll go lighter. I don't really like much darker, but that's my first test of these. I've had all you guys begging for me to do a comparison of which is better. I probably won't ever say which is better. I really think both of these perform well. Not in the picture because it's on my bar, is my Adam 75. Let's see if I can pan over to it real quick. So there's the whole lineup, and all of these perform very well for what they are. The Turin and the niche are more consumer grade. They're for your house. The Adam, it could probably be used in a shop, much easier. It grinds super fast. The Turin, I don't know, it takes about 8 seconds. The niche takes about 15 seconds, and the Adam, I have it set a little bit fast just so that my wife could grind it all into the bowl. Normally it's about 2.9 to 3 seconds for an 18-gram dose. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and let me know what else I need to do. See you later.